Assalamu alaikum. Today we will resume our exercise 9A from question number 10 and onward. We will do some of its remaining parts, and also we will start our exercise 9B, that is on page number 289. So we are actually discussing pre-GCSE 2 mathematics. Let's see the question. In question number 10, part C, this is where actually we left in our previous session. So in this part, we have to figure out the size of C. So to figure out this length, let's first consider the outer triangle, because we are unknown with this perpendicular side. So to figure out this perpendicular side length, we can consider the outer triangle where we can see a right triangle. So to figure out this, let's suppose this is x. So to figure out this perpendicular side length, we can use the Pythagoras theorem. So Pythagoras theorem says that the sum of the squares of two perpendicular sides will be equivalent to the square of the longest side. So if we consider outer triangle, we can write here that x squared plus 8, and by the way, here the total length is 14 centimeters, because we have to combine these two lengths, so it should be 14 centimeter, and we have to take square of it, equals 19 square. So to figure out the size of x, first we will subtract 14 square from 19 square, and then we will write down its final answer, that 19 square minus 14 square, we get it 165. So if we take a square root on both sides, we will get the size of x, means the perpendicular height. So we'll get 12.8. Approximately it is 12.8. We are writing to one decimal place. So this is the size of x, but we have to figure out the size of c. So now to figure out the size of c, we can consider this triangle, which is inside the larger triangle. So we can consider this triangle that I am marking over here. So in this small triangle, if we have already figured out the size of x and we know the base length, that is 8 centimeter. So to figure out that, we can again apply the Pythagoras theorem. So that should be, we can write over here that 12.8 square plus 8 square should be equivalent to c square. So again, we will do the calculations, that 12.8 square plus 8 square will be 227.84, and if we take square root on both sides, we will get its final answer, and that will be 15. It should be 15.09, or we can say 15 centimeter. So these are the answers for the unknown values. Now let's do the next part of it. In the next part, which is part D, we are again given with compound shapes, means there are two triangles over here. This is triangle 1, we can say, and this is triangle 2. So to figure out this base length, we know that this base length is actually the combination of two bases. One base is for triangle 1 and other one is for triangle 2. So let's calculate the size of the base lengths for both of these triangles, and then we will add them to figure out the total length d. So let's first assume in triangle 1 we can say this is length x and this is y. So to figure out x, we will apply the Pythagoras theorem that says that the sum of the squares of two perpendicular sides will be equivalent to the square of third side. So we'll do the calculations. We'll subtract 24 square on the other side from 30th square. So let's write down the answer of 30th square minus 24 square. That should be 324. And if we take the square root on both sides, we will get the size of x. That should be 18. So 18 centimeter is the size of x. Now you can easily figure out the size of y. I'm leaving this part for you. You can figure out the size of y by using the Pythagoras theorem, and then definitely for the length of d, you will add the sizes of x and y to write the final answer. So let's proceed to next question. By the way, I am also leaving part E for you that you can do from this exercise by yourself. Now we will proceed to our next exercise. This is exercise 9b, where we have to apply the Pythagoras theorem on different scenarios. In question number 1, it says that some cables are supported by a vertical post of height 47 meters. So we have a vertical post of height 47 meters. First of all, we can show over here that this is a vertical post of 47 meters height. And cables are supported by the vertical post, means that let's suppose this is a cable that is supported with this post. And by the way, it also says that the cables are attached from the top of the post to a point on the level ground 18 meters from the foot of the post. So this distance means from the foot of the post to the other point of the cable should have a distance of 18 meters. So let's show this. This is 18 meters length. And they are saying that we have to figure out the size of the length. We have to figure out the length of each cable. Let's assume this length as x. So we can easily figure out this length because we have an idea about the Pythagoras theorem that says that the sum of the squares of two shorter or perpendicular sides will be equivalent to the square of third side. So you can easily figure out the size of x, and I am not doing it completely because you already have done so many questions relevant to Pythagoras theorem. I'm proceeding to next part. In question number 2, it says that each side of the square field is 50 meters long. Means we have a square field that is 50 meters long. I have shown the square field which is 50 meters long, and it says that a barricade is to be placed along the diagonal of the field. Let me show you. The barricade is like a barrier that I can show in the diagonal of it. So this is the barrier we can say over here. So it has some length, and we have to figure out the length of its diagonal, means the barricade's length. So we know that in a square, all sides are of equal sides, equal side lengths. So it means that to figure out the size of x, we can easily apply the Pythagoras theorem like this, that the sum of the squares of two perpendicular sides means this side will also be 50 meters. So it should be 50 square plus 50 square plus equals to x square. And when you will do the calculations, you will get its answer as 70.7 meters. So you can easily perform the calculations using the calculator. Let's move to part 3. The main thing here in these questions is to make the figure. So carefully we have to read the statement. Even if we don't understand the statement for the first time, you have to read by twice or thrice. A rectangular swimming pool has a length of 50 meters and a breadth of 30 meters. Means we have a swimming pool of having a rectangular shape, and it has a length and width mentioned over here. During swimming, Bernard has to swim from one corner of the pool to other opposite corner. Means if we show over here that he has to move in the diagonal. So they want us to find the distance that the swimmer has to swim. Means we have to figure out this distance, which is shown by x. So to figure out that distance, we can apply the Pythagoras theorem. Means 30th square plus 50th square should be equivalent to x square. And again, it's very easy to calculate that. So the final answer you should get as 58.3 meters. Don't forget to write down the units, and then we have to do the next question over here. Let's see. It says that a ladder of length 5 meters is placed against a vertical wall with its foot 1.8 meters away from the base of the wall. Let me show you the figure. We can see a wall over here, and it has a ladder placed with it, and the base, like you can say, from the length from the foot of the wall, like it has from the ladder, this length is of 1.8 meters, and the length of the ladder is 5 meters. So I can show you here that the length is 5 meters and the base length is 1.8 meters, and we have to figure that how far up the wall does the ladder reach. Means we have to figure out the height of the wall where the ladder touch. So to figure out the size of x, you can easily use the Pythagoras theorem that says the sum of the squares of two perpendicular sides should be equivalent to the square of third side. So it should be equivalent to 5 square. So you can easily perform the calculations. Like we can do x square, and then we can write 5 squares, take away 1.8 square, and it should be 21.76 meters square. But we have to figure out the size of x, not x square, so we will take the square root on both sides. So this will give us the size of x in meters, and that will be 4.6. So it means the length of the or we can say the height of the wall where the ladder touch. So it is just 4.6 meters. This is the next question where it says that the height of the 30 inches television screen is 18 inches. Basically, it is given that the television screens are measured across the diagonals. Means if we want to observe the size of the television, then we can measure the diagonal length to tell about the size of the screen. So it says that the height of 30-inch television screen is 18 inches. Means that height is 18 inches. We can also say it's a width. And its diagonal length is 30 inches. So we have to figure out that how wide is the screen. Means we have to figure out the length. So again, Pythagoras theorem can help us. So we can say that 18 square plus x square should be equivalent to 30th square. To figure out the size of x, definitely we will subtract 18 square from 30th square, and we will get x square as 576. So to figure out the size of x, we can take square root on both sides, and we will get 24 inches. So it means that it is 24 inches wide. And this was all for today. Thank you so much.